Alrighty, folks, we have him back, the one and only Cody Barton. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Happy to be here.
So I don't know if this is a conscious effort, but I have sensed or seen you be in front of the camera a lot more over the last 6 months. You've always been an important role model and execution person in Pace's organization. I know that. I don't know that a lot of people know that, but you're in front of the camera a lot more. And I heard you were on stage at that Montana event, campfire or camp something. And
Yeah.
what's going on with all this? You're getting in front of the camera more? What are you doing?
Yeah, it's really one of those things where, Pace and I were wanting to expand into doing more. And, part of doing more is we want to buy we're looking at buying, more businesses and, to expand into what we're doing and diversifying the portfolio of businesses that we're involved in. And
Mm-hmm.
part of that, there's really two reasons for me that I'm focusing on the content side. The one reason is the opportunities of new businesses for us to buy. For those business owners, when they go to check Pace out and they go to check me out, that they could see content that's coming out around what we're doing, and so that they can build, kind of like online trust of like, okay, these guys, they're really doing it. They're talking about it. That I can relate with the content and the
Mm-hmm.
strategies, they make sense, right? So like building that credibility there is important to me. And second is the team building aspect of it as well. Like we recruit a decent amount of people to work for our companies through, Pace's social media. And so where 99.999% of those people are not actually ever going to really talk to Pace, and they're going to be talking to me and the team that, I build within our organization, is I want them to also get to know who I am
Mm-hmm.
and, really just kind of helping on the recruiting side because, this from your experience in the corporate world too. It's like the people are who actually build the business, people
Oh, you're
move
crucial.
businesses. And so we want to, from my end and Pace's end, put ourselves in a space where, we can get really awesome talent excited to work for, our companies that we're building, or any businesses that we're acquiring, that we can, plug people into those as well. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to accomplish.
Yeah, I don't know if this is true. Again, this is just one guy's 10,000-foot view of watching you and Pace do your thing. Pace is obviously the rainmaker in the real estate world, whether it's sub two, flipping, or now apartment or multifamily syndication. That's where
Hmm.
he's at. That's where he's comfortable. He's got that on lock, if you will.
Yeah.
I've also seen, I don't know, I'll call it over the last 6 months, interactions with Cody Sanchez, with Alex Hormozy, and Layla Hormozy. Hopefully I got her name right.
Hmm.
Um, I think what they've done is those relationships have sparked the idea that you guys want to go get and start buying businesses. And Pace Pace hasn't solved the 24-hour clock yet. He has 24 hours just like the rest of us. Even if he gets up at 2 a.m., it's still 24 hours. So I think it's genius that you start getting in front of the camera and start, I don't know, owning, becoming that guy in the world. I think it only compounds to the good way what's going on the team. That's what it seems like's going on, but not sure.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, part of the business buying side is like, so for me, like I think Pace's first love in business is real estate, and then it's business like second. And for
Mhm.
me, it's kind of vice versa. It's like my first is business. Like the product of business and entrepreneurship is my thing more than like any particular company is. I just love the way that in the infrastructure behind a company comes together, and how marketing and sales and operations and admin and finance, like all of the different areas of a business come together. And so that's super super fun for me. And so for as Pace and I have had conversations, we're like, well, we're also saving a decent amount of money every month, either towards buying a new office, and then also for buying businesses. And part of that is, one, in Arizona we want to vertically integrate. We have a lot of properties here. between the both of us, close to, in Arizona, Pace has a lot more in other states, but close to 100 units that have 100 different air conditioning units and plumbing systems and, handyman. We spend so
Roofs.
much damn
Yeah.
money on all of these freaking houses and
Yeah.
freaking small multi stuff every month. It's like the portfolio still does good, but it's like, there's a lot of money that we spend on vendors. And so
Hmm.
that's a big move that we're wanting to push towards is, getting plumbing, HVAC, electrical, handyman type home service businesses here, to plug into all the properties we have and get a pretty easy lift. Just plugging in the properties we own helps lift all of any company we buy, which is the nice thing. And then, obviously then there's the network we have here. And then, God forbid we put on actual marketing behind some of these ancient businesses that are not doing any of that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I hear a lot. I hear it a lot from Cody Sanchez, some from Alex Ramosi as well. Uh, and what I see them talking about brought into kind of Pace's world, your world, it's going to be like lightning in a bottle, right? Because you already
Mm-hmm.
have the reach, you have the reputation. Your deal flow. I mean, without a dollar of marketing, your deal flow has to be, second to none. So if you could take that out of kind of real estate heavy to new businesses and then
Mm-hmm.
take your ability to negotiate in deal structure,
Yeah.
I can't imagine what's coming because I don't know if you know this. I think Cody has said this a couple of times, or maybe actually I have a small business guy on my channel every Wednesday. 60% of small businesses are bought with owner financing, at least some owner financing, usually a second. That's not
Yeah.
true in real estate. You get a lot of people in real estate that say stupid shit like that's illegal. That just
Yeah.
blows up deals. That doesn't happen in small businesses. So I think it's going to be fun to watch what you guys do.
Yeah, so here's an example of one, and who knows if it'll go through. We had one that we closed on it's about a month ago, but we have another one we're actively working on. I had the call with the seller, the plumber, um, on Tuesday this week, and the situation with this guy, and this is the situation with a lot of small businesses, right? So he looks like, I don't know his exact age, but he looks like he's getting in his high 60s, close to 70 at this point, and so. We did a Zoom and we're talking through his business. He did about just under 900,000 in revenue last year. He has 4 people on his team. And we are talking through like, where is this business coming from? Just referrals. And like, he's like, I have my iPhone right here. All of my contacts are in it. He's like, I invoice in QuickBooks. We don't have a website. We don't have a
Oh,
logo. We
yeah.
don't have our brand is just, a very, without saying the name of it because we haven't
Yeah.
closed the deal yet, but
I
it's a
got you.
very non, established, or it's an established brand in the sense of like they
Yeah.
have really good relationships with other commercial contractors and
Yep.
builders in that regard because they do good work, but no actual brand, no actual paid marketing,
Yeah.
and
Could you
no,
imagine? I mean, I'm just thinking about this. You sprinkle on a tenth of your goodness, you could
yeah.
10x that thing in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and that's where, talking to this guy, I was like, my gosh, like, no, there's nothing going on behind this thing. And it's like they're doing that much in revenue. It's 900, almost 900,000 in revenue. And they did like, I think it was like 260 or 270 last year and
Net.
profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's, it's businesses like that. And, that it's like stuff like that gets me really excited because it's
Yeah.
like, there's a formula for business, and that's something that we've done half a dozen times with different companies over, to 1 million or 3+ million a year, and some others to significantly more into the 8 figures. And so it's like it's just going and plugging in the same principles into any business that you go into. Obviously, it's like some are a little bit different. They have their nuances, like some product-based stuff versus service-based businesses. They're all a little different, but
Mhm.
principle and the foundations are the same. And so that's like that's one business where, and I was asking the guy, I'm like, why didn't you just like build the team to like just, not have to work in it? And he's like, I just never had, the ambition, and I'm not a business guy. He's like, I was always a great plumber, and
Right.
I
I'm a
trained
plumber.
great plumbers. Like I have great plumbers on my team, and like, so it's like that's the story of, however
Oh,
many millions of people that
oh,
are going
for
to
sure.
retire in the, this year and the upcoming years.
So, you don't have to answer this question if you can't because you're still in the deal flow, but I'm guessing you're trying to articulate something where he gets a little cash now and then he gets payments, maybe part of the revenue in the future, something like that?
Yeah, so our plan with that particular deal, if if it all works out, would be because he has an operations, he basically has like a master plumber that like is the guy that kind of coordinates the jobs that the other plumbers are going to go out to and kind of like helps with more of the day-to-day stuff. And so that's why
Mhm.
we're interested is because that guy's there. So for us, what we want to do is likely come in, try to give, if that guy is a good fit. We haven't met him yet. We are in the next couple of weeks, but maybe give him 10% of the business, but he has to earn 2.5% a year over 4 years.
Nice.
So he's
I like that.
incentivized via equity. And then, he wants to stay long term because I don't have a plumber's license and I don't plan on getting one. And so
Yeah.
we need someone to have
Come on, Cody.
so it's like having that there. So that's we want to incentivize the guy that will be staying. And with the seller, I mean, we've kind of started massaging out some of the terms. Definitely a seller carry with a very reasonable amount of money down, and then a
Yeah,
seller carried portion that we would tie to making sure we didn't lose any of his referral business, because that was part of the conversation is
of
like, look,
course.
your buddy, Joe, that's been working with you for 17 years, that sends you business, to his construction company, better still send us business. Otherwise, the seller carry portion of what you get after is going to be going down if that's going down. So we're
Yep.
going to tie some of that to the relationships and the full purchase price, and the payout over time is the goal.
Yeah. So is it fair to say your buy box for businesses, at least in the beginning here, is trying to complement the real estate portfolio, i.e. plumber, maybe AC, roofers? At least that's where you're going to start. It's the easiest lift, and then maybe you go somewhere else down the line.
Yeah, so I mean, we have our our buy box is pretty simple right now. We are buying in Maricopa or Pinal County in Arizona, home service based businesses,
Mhm.
HVAC, plumbing, electrical, handyman, any of those types of businesses, essentially. Businesses that are 5 to 7 plus years old is what we're looking for. Businesses that are doing, at least generally we're looking for about 1 million or more in like gross, and then about 250 or more in net. But this one that came up, it's like it's a little under our gross revenue, but it hit it on the net side, so we're like, yeah, like this still looks like
Okay.
a promising opportunity. Another part of our buy box is we want an operator in place. I do not want a job because I have lots of jobs to do, so we want an operator that can
Good
still
idea.
run day to day. And so that's an important thing for us as well. And the only case where we're kind of open to out of Arizona would be online based businesses. We
Hmm.
have, a decent size audience. So we're also looking at, anyone that has like a personal credit repair business. We would love to buy that because it could be ran online. And we have a few people that we could probably use that service that, follow the stuff that we do. And so, some niche online businesses, bookkeeping businesses we would be open to as well. But as far as where they'd be physically located, um, we're looking for Arizona is what we're going after.
That's amazing stuff. Well, we're going to make episode number 3 all about your new podcast that you just launched. Can you tell people what it is, and we'll get into that next?
Yeah, definitely. So the podcast, Pace came up with the name, so I always want to give him credit on that. But as far as the initial, which I actually didn't like at first because that's not my job, and I'm like, that sounds arrogant, and like it sounds like he's like it polarizes people and it makes them like get curious. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
so that's not my job. And then like added on an introvert's guide to building a business beyond yourself to give more context to it. Basically, a lot of the stuff that me and Pace have done over the years now is, we've built a lot of different businesses and they have a lot of great operating teams in place. And we've helped a lot of people do that. So it's helping, a big passion of mine is helping people that have, only been solopreneurs forever, like this plumbing business guy. Like that's like the ideal person. It's like someone, but they have a desire to, have a team and not be doing everything, right? So that's something that's super super fun. And so that's a lot of what the content's around: building teams, hiring people, delegating, the unfun part of firing people, and setting up an organization the right way, and how you incentivize your team. And so a lot of those types of things are what what I'm talking about on there.
Awesome. I look forward to digging into that more. Cody, where can people find you?
So either, Spotify, iTunes for the That's Not My Job podcast, or YouTube, just search Cody Barton, unfortunately not the football player. And on Instagram, Cody Barton Official. You can find me on there as well.
Thank you, buddy.